Hi students, I welcome you all to today's English class. In today's session, we will be learning about the third part of the lesson, The Gardener, written by P. Lankesh. So Basvaya had no answer to this, to all that humiliation which Tamanna was trying to do. Basvaya also tried to sing like Tamanna did, but he miserably failed in it. So he performed his agriculture task more diligently. This too was no answer to Tamanna. Tamanna's reputation had spread all around. His song started making a mention of Basvaya's cruelty and his meanness. So scholars and all the folklore were after him. Critics started analyzing and translating his songs and thus earned a lot of fame. So Basvaya was helplessly watching whatever was happening to him because of Tamanna. So he helplessly watched all of this and he was consumed by anger. He encroached more and more into Tamanna's land, but on the other hand, Tamanna did not notice any of these activities by Basvaya, and he was facilitated as the best poet of his times. So, Tamanna, who started writing poetry and ballads just to humiliate Basvaya, went up to an extent of even being facilitated as the best poet of his times. So, on the other hand, Basvaya shrunk in humiliation. He was really hurt. He felt really low. His ego was hurt. Nevertheless, he started filling his life with all kinds of material wealth. He got a very big mansion built for himself, and not only this, he also appointed number of people not to work for him but to praise him. He also consumed himself with a lot of gold, diamonds, and other precious stones. So he bet with gold, with diamond, with precious stones and jewels. But his house looked very dull and empty because Tamanna's books were not there. So whoever visited his house, the visitors kept complaining that Tamanna's books were missing. That is why, Basvaya, your house looks really dull. Therefore, he started inviting a lot of scholars, poets. He started inviting musicians to his place. So, this was his way of investing his home with some kind of meaning just to compete with Tamanna. So, one day he came to know that Tamanna was ill, and this made Basvaya very, very happy because Tamanna is very sick now. At this point, Basvaya found a means of surpassing Tamanna. He believed health is wealth. So he thought that Tamanna might sing well, he might be a good singer, he has this talent of writing good songs, he has a lot of fame. Though Tamanna has all of this, today he is very, very sick. So Tamanna's disease was Basvaya's health. So this is the way Basvaya felt that he is surpassing Tamanna. He is going one step ahead of Tamanna. However, by this time, Tamanna, even though he was sick and he was in his deathbed, he had another method of punishing Basvaya. That was his own death. Must be very, very surprising. But we need to understand what exactly was happening in the mind of Tamanna. Tamanna had thought this method of punishing Basvaya through his own death. He thought that if Basvaya did not have me as his competitor, All his life, Basvaya has been competing because of my existence. Now, if that very existence is not there, if the songs were separated from my body, if there was no relationship between the songs and this flesh and body of mine, then definitely in future Basvaya would not have anybody to compete with. So his main aim in life is to do competition with me. So what if I am not alive? What if I die because of this sickness? That was the thought of Tamanna. So we need to understand Basvaya thought that though Tamanna has everything, he is very sick today. So because of his sickness, I am in a better position. But on the other hand, Tamanna is thinking that today I am sick and in few days if I die, Basvaya is left with nobody to compete. So he'll have no aim in his life because his only aim in his life is to compete with me. This is how both of them thought about each other. Then this old man told to the plantation owner's wife, "This is when I realized how strange human nature can be." The old man began his explanation to the owner's wife. Man needs wealth. The old man is telling this to the plantation owner's wife that man needs wealth. He needs education. He also needs art and many more things like friends, family, good time. He needs so many things, but yet he lives for some kind of unbearable vengeful. He is so vengeance about something in his life. Without it, there would be no reason for his existence. This is not a real story. uh, the old man says that I have only heard this from somewhere. So you may know that I subscribe to my daily wages. I'm just an old man. And then the old man here is trying to tell that after a particular time in life, after a particular age, man loses his name. His age becomes more important and his name vanishes into thin air. Now I am an old man in this garden, your servant. I am also the person who reads the newspaper and looks after the garden, probably. I conceived the story of Tamanna and Basvaya when all of a sudden Russia told America, "I am not your enemy. I shall not wage a war against you." What must have been the reaction of America, the sworn enemy of Russia, to this declaration? Probably you will not understand the agony and boredom of America. Once it knew Russia was no more an enemy. A nation is capable of withstanding strains like this, but a human being cannot. The Basbaya and Tamanna's story is shared to this women by this old man, and as he is telling his narration, he says that, "See, I am just here as an old man working in your garden. I am reduced to nothing. My name is vanished into the thin air. All that matters is my age, because as far as I have strength in my body, I can work for my living." And he talks about Russia and America. He gives an example and talks about Russia and America. He says that when Russia told America that I am no more going to wage a war against your land, maybe America as a country could withstand such a kind of a declaration by Russia. But a man in an individual person's life, this is really, really difficult. The old man is telling the plantation owner's wife that you can't even imagine how hard it is. And here the old man says that he also suffered a similar fate, a similar destiny in his life. And then he says, I thought my death alone could destroy Basvaya. Now, who is this old man? By here, we get to know that this old man who is working is none other than Tamanna. And the old man says that I gave up everything and started off. A few days after I left, Basvaya passed away. So Tamanna thought that his death can be a punishment to Basvaya, but whatever he desired to happen to Basvaya happened to him. Now it is a reverse fate. Basvaya passed away and Basvaya is no more, so Tamanna has nobody to do the competition with. So now the fate has been reversed. Whatever Tamanna desired to happen to Basvaya, it happened to him. That's why here said that I suffered a similar fate. I thought my death alone could destroy Basvaya. I gave up everything and started off. A few days after I left, Basvaya passed away. He had no more reason to live. Then he says, my name is Tamanna. After his death, I forgot all my songs and ballads. I, who was once famous, became a non entity. Thus, I avenged myself. So he says to the plantation owner's wife, your husband today is flourishing. He is a rich man. He is not in any condition to listen to anybody's advice. Man is so complicated that till the day of his death, he goes on living for some revenge or the other, confronting one challenge or the other. So, by this story of Tamanna and Basvaya, he is trying to console this plantation owner's wife not to be worried about her situation, not to be so disturbed. He consoles her and he says, man itself is like that. The human nature is like that. He will always keep going after one thing or the other, one challenges or the other challenges till he goes to his deathbed. He will keep having some kind of revenge or the other. Then he says, Amma, don't think otherwise. Just assume I did not tell any of the story of Tamanna and Basvaya to you, or just think all this happens in a dream. And then he continued telling, the laborers have started going home. That young child of Lokya paints well. He is bedridden with fever. I shall pay him a visit. Forgive me, unable to elaborate. I have told you whatever I felt as it is. I had seen all this in a dream. So, by this, we come to the conclusion of this lesson. I hope you have understood. There are a few important things which you have to keep in mind, that the old man who came to the plantation owner was none other than Tamanna. The old man tries to tell his experience as though it was like a dream by changing the names, whether it is Sangoji or Basvaya, just to tell us that names are not important as far as we understand the moral of the story. And the moral of the story between Tamanna and Basvaya is that a man has everything in his life. He is blessed with good education, good family, he is after wealth, but still the desires of a man can never ever end. He has some kind of vengeance against something or somebody, and he goes on competing till he dies, till he goes to his deathbed. And this truth and reality, Tamanna has realized it, and now he is old. He is to a non-entity. He's become like a non-entity. He has no existence, and he is trying to tell the story to the plantation owner's wife to console her, just to make her feel better and to give her a kind of a promising future that her husband will definitely realize when time comes. So he's comforting and consoling her through this story. I hope you all have enjoyed this story.